If you live in South Florida, your windows are not just windows. They're one of the most important safety features on your entire home. So a lot of homeowners think that impact windows are just for surviving a hurricane. That's not how it works. Your impact windows are going to do a lot more than that. So why do impact windows really matter here? Because in South Florida, standard glass is a weak point. And during a hurricane, wind isn't just pushing against your house, it's looking for an opening. And if you have a regular window that breaks, that wind is going to rush inside along with the pressure. Now, when that storm enters your home, that internal pressure is going to build up. That pressure is going to push up on your roof while the wind from the outside is pulling up. So you're kind of getting a double action from the roof trying to peel off your roof from the outside, and now the storm that's entered from the inside also pushing up on your ceiling. And a lot of people don't understand that is exactly where a lot of structural failures happen. So impact windows, they're not just about broken glass, they help control pressure and keep that pressure outside of your house. And what a lot of people don't understand is impact windows actually help protect your roof, which is kind of weird to think about. So let's slow down and explain things a little bit better. So what does an impact window actually mean? Impact glass is basically laminated glass. So you have two panes of glass with a strong, clear inner layer sandwiched in between those two pieces of glass. And as I've mentioned, you've seen it before thousands of times. It's the same system that you actually have in your car that you drive to work every day, in your windshield. So if something hits your windshield, the glass may crack, but it stays adhered to that inner layer and it doesn't explode inward. It's going to stay in place and it's going to keep the opening sealed. And having that sealing is critical because once your whole envelope stays closed, your home is going to perform much better under wind pressure. Now, here's another question for you. So are impact windows only about storms? No, they're also going to improve everyday life. So many impact windows actually use insulated glass. And what is insulated glass? It's basically an impact window, your two layers, your inner layer sandwiched in between. You're going to have spacers, gas, and another panel. And what that's going to do is that acts like insulation. It's going to slow down the amount of heat transfer that actually enters your home. And in South Florida, that matters. It helps keep the heat outside and your cool air inside your home. And you may also hear the term low E. Low E stands for low emissivity. And that means there is a microscopic coating on the glass that actually reflects heat while still letting light into your home. You can see it a little bit depending on what coating they end up using, but it's actually really interesting. The industry is actually getting closer to having a clearer version of that. So whereas we have SB70, that's going to be one of your stronger low E coatings, that's going to have a very light green hue to the window, we like to say, and you're going to have a strong mirrored finish on the window. Whereas if you go down a little bit, the hue kind of disappears and you don't have that greenish color as you do with the SB70. And you're gonna have a noticeable difference on top of just upgrading to impact alone. And what does that mean? That means you're gonna feel the difference. You're gonna have less heat gain, you're gonna have more stable indoor temperatures, you're gonna have less strain on your air conditioner, and when your AC works less, you're gonna save some money. Now let's talk about something practical. What about storm preparation? With hurricane windows permanently installed, you don't need to put up shutters. There's no climbing, no ladders, no scrambling when a storm comes. It's one of the best feelings that if there is a storm in the area or on its way to us, all you have to think about bringing your stuff inside, putting gas in your vehicles, getting food. So maybe there are a lot of things to consider, but let's just imagine that you were on vacation and a storm popped up out of nowhere. Guess what? Your house is protected. Somebody tries to break into your house, they're going to have a really hard time. It's going to take them a lot of time. They're going to make a lot of noise trying to get into your home. I absolutely love impact windows. And once again, the best thing really is that you already have your protection in place. Focus on the other things that are important, the other things that are critical to protect your family. Now let's talk about installation. Does installation really matter that much? Yes. Even the strongest window can underperform if it's not installed correctly. So impact windows must be anchored into the structure of your home, not just screwed into the frame. The window and the house, they have to work together the same as your roof and walls do. The same that if you go down past your walls, you have the footing and the foundation that if that's not strong enough, your walls can actually come off the floor. So it's interesting, from the foundation to the walls, to the windows, to the roof, everything is connected in construction, and having those strong connections are going to make your home a lot more resistant to hurricanes. So what makes an installation proper? First, you need to start off with an accurate measurement, having correct fastening into block or framing depending on what the application is, having proper sealing and flashing. There's a lot of companies that I know of that skip certain flashing details or sealing details, and 3-5 years later, windows start leaking, and it's because they didn't take the time when they first installed the windows to caulk the back of the bucks and put the windows on. And that initial layer, if this is your wall and this is your window, where they put this caulking, water was actually able to get in. It just took a little while for it, but that company's paid, that company's gone. Now you have a homeowner with an issue and they need to figure it out. And the only way to correct that issue is to remove the window, fix the bucking, add the sealant, and then reinstall the window. But for us, it's now a liability. If we pull that window out and it gets damaged, the guy slips, the guy scratches the window accidentally, we're now liable. So either A, we're not going to do it, or B, we're going to charge more money than we normally would just to protect ourselves in the event that something happens outside of our control. And obviously we're dealing with human error, but it's a liability and a risk to us. And as I mentioned before, another benefit of the impact windows is security, and I love that feature. So laminated glass is significantly harder to break. It's not impossible, but it's going to take a lot more time, a lot more effort compared to standard glass. I've also made a bunch of videos, one recently where I went to one of our homes and I was actually able to test his non-impact windows. They weren't moved into the house yet. We had to do all the cleanup and everything. That was a lot more glass than I expected. I kind of underestimated how much of a mess that was going to make. Where we actually went and we tested a bunch of we went around and we tested a bunch of objects versus a non-impact window, and then we tested all of those objects multiple times on one impact window, and I was still not able to break into that impact window. And it's really going to discourage a lot of intrusion. And something that I like to mention that a lot of people don't consider is, when do you typically set your alarm? At night, correct? Okay. So what happens if you're at work, your family's at home during the day, your doors are locked, but your alarm's not set, somebody tries to break into your house right now. And let's imagine you don't have impact windows. It's going to be very quick. We've all seen those common movies. Somebody takes a hammer or they elbow glass, they stick their hand in, they unlock the door, and they're in the house. That doesn't happen with impact windows. So even if somebody does try to break into your house, your alarm's not set, the only way they're getting into your house quickly is potentially with a concrete saw. And even with that concrete saw, you're still going to have a couple minutes that it's going to take for them to actually cut around the whole window and then push that window in to unlock it to then enter your house, giving you plenty of time to respond, for the police to get there, or for you to get out of the area. So these impact windows are also going to reduce outside noise, traffic, neighbors, construction. And a lot of homeowners have told us the first thing that they notice after upgrading the windows is how much quieter the house is. And the second thing is usually how much cooler it feels in the home. Now let's talk about when to upgrade. So how do you know it's time? So if your windows are single pane, if they're drafty, if they leak, if they're hard to open, or they don't operate anymore, if you rely on shutters or plywood every storm, or your home was built before modern hurricane codes, if you live near the coast, those are some strong indicators that it might be time to replace it. So now let's zoom out. So impact windows, they're not just a purchase, they're an upgrade to your entire building envelope. They're going to strengthen the system, and will combine with a properly built roof, proper straps, and good underlayment under your new roof, your home becomes significantly more resilient. So here's a real question. Are you reacting to storms every year, or are you just preparing one time and eliminating the stress for the long term? Because that's the difference. Impact windows are going to protect your family during storms. They're going to improve your comfort every day, and they're going to reduce prep time. They can help with insurance credits, and they can modernize your home at the same time. Bigfoot Windows and Roofing, building trust, one window, one door, one roof at a time.